Welcome to the Full Gear Post Show. I'm Renee Paquette, joined as always with RJ City.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Also with us tonight, we've got Daddy Magic.
Hey guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
Great. I mean, I think great. There's a lot to get into. Yeah.
I'm feeling great.
You're feeling great?
I'm feeling great.
Am I the only one who
great.
caught the end of the pay-per-view? It's just chaos. It's just straight
I
chaos
can be
in the
happy
streets.
because my husband is in fact bringing home the AEW World Championship. Kudos to that man. But I've been able to watch a lot of his matches. I've been able to talk about a lot of his matches throughout the duration of his career and my career. And watching what those men did tonight, I can, with journalistic integrity, talk about what Orange Cassidy did out there, stepping up for AEW. We needed someone to rise to the occasion. Unfortunately, he did not get the job done tonight. But man, the spirit of Orange Cassidy and what he represents for this company was on full display tonight.
No question. Unfortunate for the company, fortunate for you and the household at home. But what a performance by Orange Cassidy. I think we all kind of expected it, right? That he would go out there and give everything he got.
Yeah.
Blood and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by the performance personally that we saw tonight.
I am, however, surprised by Yuta seemingly trying to pour bleach or Windex or whatever it was down the throat of Orange Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily foresee that happening. John promised something heinous. That's no way that's what he was only referring to. The match was very brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was horrible forearm shots to the head of Orange. Orange's head bounced off the stairs numerous times. And they seem to, every month, go to new
lengths.
Yeah, to torment people.
So that being said, we're seeing what they're doing to torment people. We've heard the mission statements from John. We've heard all the things that he's had to say about AEW, about how he wants to be as champion. Where does the company kind of sit now after what we saw from Orange? Was that enough of what the guys in the locker room needed to see to still kind of rally behind and figure out a new plan?
I think at the end of the day, it's also about the championship, right?
Yeah.
Guys want to crack at the gold. That's what we do this for. And
this feels like it's not to say it's bigger than the championship.
Yeah.
The championship is what everybody, of course, is vying for. It is the top of the entire industry.
Is this maybe the only world title match I've ever seen where we didn't actually see the world title?
Yeah.
that was wild. Was that wild?
A little disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I thought they were going to open the case, maybe.
Some
Open
kind
it
of
up.
display,
Hold it up.
Well, let's talk about what we saw, the aftermath. I mean, what you were alluding to, we saw what happened there with Darby Allin, with the car crash outside, wherever things are going to take off from there. But before, in the ring, we saw Hangman Adam Page come out. We see Christian Cage come out with his contract that he can cash in at any time for a title opportunity. And then also seeing Switchblade Jay White. So this has kind of set things off on a couple different prongs of where this can go. Of those options, who do you guys see as the next viable contender for John?
Well, Christian is always the viable contender.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the shot, and obviously will only enact on it when it's fully to his advantage. Tonight, he got, I think, as close as we've ever seen him. He opened it. He's got to sign the thing. He got very, very close tonight, and there's no way he's going anywhere. He's always lurking.
I think bringing things back to Hangman as well, we're looking at these original AEW guys and what they represent. I mean, yes, Hangman did not walk away with a win tonight. He's had a couple losses in the last little while, but I think when you look at Hangman, he is much like Orange in the fighting spirit of what AEW represents. This is his company.
No question about that. The crowd tonight, immediately when they saw him, started chanting "Cowboy ass."
Yeah.
You know, so they're feeling it too. But if you're asking me, I look at a guy like Jay White, who a year ago at Full Gear challenged MJF for the championship, came up short, got a huge win tonight. And if I'm just looking at the rankings that way, he's a guy who's in line for a shot, if you ask me. And it looks like he wants to step up for the company as well, you know?
This is Jay's 5th time beating Hangman. I cannot believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't know anyone else who's done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, noted.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bobby Lashley tonight. Incredible showing from Bobby to be able to leave both Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana down in the ring, unconscious. Poor Nana. But Bobby Lashley, I mean, we were talking earlier on 0 Hour of what Bobby Lashley needs to do here in AEW to not, he doesn't have to reprove himself, but this is a new world for him under the AEW structure. What did you think of our showing of Bobby tonight?
I mean, that is the one thing that struck me with Bobby Lashley is just his size.
Oh my God.
This guy is an absolute monster.
277 pounds, 6'5",
Like,
like
what are we talking about?
beast.
When this guy locks in that full Nelson, and I'm not, do we have a name for it? Are we calling it something here?
It's a hurt lock.
The hurt lock, when he hits it with the hurt lock, it's curtains. This guy's a monster. I don't think you understand, okay? Poor Nana, guys. Just Nana.
He walked right into it. Though.
What are you
He
doing?
did walk right into it.
Get out of Dodge,
Yeah.
please.
And well,
Yeah.
then
Save
what's
yourself,
next for the
man.
Hurt Syndicate? I think MVP is going to be handing out more cards.
Listen,
Seems like
they
the
wanted.
operation is going very well so far.
They put the target on Swerve Strickland the minute they walked. As soon as those
Yeah.
contracts were signed to come here to AEW, they went immediately after Swerve Strickland. But yeah, they're handing out the business cards.
They
It
delivered
seems like-
too on.
Yeah,
Swerve.
certainly.
Like, what a win.
Didn't think that's the way that it was going to
At
go.
all.
No.
At all.
Let's talk about something a little nicer.
Yeah.
Daddy Magic, would you like to
Hey.
announce who our new
Oh my
TNT
God.
champion
How about
is?
that? Daniel Garcia, new television TNT champion. How about that?
It's
Huh?
a television
Oh
station.
my gosh. Okay. I did say on 0 Hour, this was the match I was truly looking the
Yeah.
most forward to tonight. I am a big fan of Jack Perry. I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
Daniel
not me so
Garcia.
much.
Sure. But what they did tonight, I mean, these guys beat the ever-loving crap out of each other. But Daniel Garcia, this was the most fight I feel like I've seen in Danny.
Yeah, Danny was in a bad mood all day.
Yep.
All day, just an absolute bad mood. Even after the match was
I
still
was going to say, I think
was
he's
still
somehow still in a bit
in
of
a
a mood.
miserable bad
Agreed.
mood.
I'll tell you whose fault it was.
Who?
You guys saw that little entrance video there?
Yeah, his mom.
His
Mrs.
mom.
Garcia's fault. Yes.
She was here tonight. God bless Jackie Garcia. Shout out. Lovely lady. Could not be prouder of her son tonight, as am I. They were in a tough spot if we're talking on the card, right?
Sure.
They followed that
Yep.
fantastic Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher match.
Is there an easy spot
no.
on these cards?
Open
There's no
it. Just
easy-
open it up.
Even
and-
if you're on
Off
first,
to
you
the
have to follow the
races.
Rizzler.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What a pop for
Listen.
the Rizzler. My goodness.
Rizzler setting the world on fire.
But-
But no, to your point, right? Like every single spot on the card, that is what it is. But the deeper you get in the night, the more difficult it becomes. And you just got to compartmentalize, go out there and do your job.
But for Daniel Garcia, we've spoken about this. I mean, we've spoken about it in person. We've spoken about it on the shows. But there's been this very sort of like start-stop momentum for Garcia. I think that people are so behind him. I think everybody behind the scenes is so behind Daniel Garcia sort of finally have this moment. This is Danny's first AEW championship that he's
absolutely.
held. What does he do with this now? This is really the time to shut up. And I think put up. From what we saw from John Moxley talking to him and trying to light a fire under some of these guys' asses, I feel like Danny really took a lot of that stuff to heart.
He did, absolutely. And John's somebody who he used to look up to.
Mhm.
RJ, you had a phrase. How did you put it? Like cashing potential.
Oh, the curse of potential.
Yes,
You're
yes.
like a veteran young guy.
Yeah.
You're wrestling for 20 years, and it's like, he's a young guy. He's going to be great. But I think Daniel Garcia finally leveled up tonight. Having said that, it's always a much different thing being champion.
Yeah.
And we're going to see, how
What
that
he
works
does.
out, right?
I will
Like,
say Jack Perry kind of had a very distracted reign. Fought Bryan
Sure.
Danielson, and
a
then
challenge for the title, right? Yeah.
Yes, he was all over the place.
Driving around town in a terrible bus.
Yeah, and this is the
No shocks on that thing. That's a fact.
25th title, 25th time the TNT title has changed hands. The most of
Wow.
any AEW title. So
Wow.
it can be won and lost very quickly. It's, of course, the open challenge title.
Yeah.
So there is a lot.
And I guess that's what's going to be happening. We'll
Mhm.
see. I have nothing else to add.
Okay,
on
well-
I mean, we're just
Let's move from the
Enjoy
TNT
it.
Championship over to the TBS Championship. Mercedes
Mm.
Moné retaining that title, but I feel like this was probably the best showing that we've been able to see from Mercedes as champion. But let's talk about Chris Statlander here for a second as her challenger, former TBS champion and Chris Statlander. This was a big moment for her to really represent for AEW. Granted, she did not get the job done, but I still feel like that flag was planted in the ground tonight.
and they went about 20 minutes,
Yes.
22 minutes.
Yes.
I think I heard in the back that it was the longest women's match
That's
in
true.
AEW history.
Yeah.
So kudos to them. Hats off. Unfortunate for Chris.
So if Chris can't get it done against Mercedes, who's going to do it? Who could it be? Who's going to step up
who
next?
gets in line?
I don't know.
I'll tell you who
Is there a
might not
contender?
be too thrilled this evening was Camille
Yeah.
She was told, stay in the back, I'm going to do this myself. And then Mercedes did it herself.
This poor woman.
She might be out of a job, is what you're saying?
Maybe. She's got one arm. She must have some second thoughts tonight.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
Certainly. All right.
Her services needed. Yeah.
Speaking of women, there was another happening on the show.
Let's break it down. Let's
Championship
talk about it.
champagne celebration. Which knowing Mariah could only go one way, but it did not. Mina was ready for Mariah's devious ways and kicked the champagne bottle out of her hand.
What the precision of that kick.
Causing
My
Mariah
goodness.
to spit at Mina. And then Mina said what I believe was a swear word and then tackled her off the stage. And they both fell through a table. I saw Mina, she came up, her mouth was bleeding, but she's got a gigantic goose egg.
Yeah, I was just going to say, did you guys see that?
Yeah,
Can we also talk about Mariah May coming into this with like a gnarly black eye? She's covered in bruises. She's posting these on social media. Both of these women have gone through hell, and now neither of them seem to have a friend in the world because they were really just kind of relying on each other.
Yeah.
Now they got nothing.
It's not going to end well.
No, it's a little bit ugly. Talking about friends breaking up, Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. This was such a huge moment for Kyle Fletcher, who no doubt one day will be world champion in this company. I think that we can all see the future lined up for Kyle Fletcher, but tonight getting that win over Will Ospreay, what that means for him. I mean, this was what a showcase.
Listen, it just doesn't get any bigger than this.
No.
Right? No. This is full gear. It's a, what do you call it? A tentpole event for AEW, right? One of our big 4 events. We had over 10,000 people out there tonight, live on pay-per-view, wrestling one of the best wrestlers in the world of all time, former best friend, right? And to come away with the victory, incredible.
And to know your best friend like the back of your hand. We know that they've lived together. We know how well they know each other in the ring. But for Kyle to really step out of that shadow of Will Ospreay, this was really such a big moment for him to kind of start his own path. I mean, of course, Don Callis family and wherever things seem to go for that. But what do you want to see next for Kyle Fletcher? What kind of championship matches do you see in his future?
It's whatever Don Callis envisions. This was a big night for Don Callis, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay,
This was his idea.
Yeah.
He's playing chess and checkmates, my friend.
Is he somebody that we could see in the Continental Classic?
Yeah.
Don
Oh
Callis?
my.
I don't want to see Don Callis in the Continental Classic.
I mean,
he wasn't so bad. He almost teamed with Rick Martel once. I'm not going to get into it right now, but yes.
Nothing to sneeze at.
Yes. Let's talk about that because it starts next week.
Yeah, we're in
I
it.
guess we'll have more
We're going to get the
information
brackets
very,
out,
very soon.
Yeah.
Pick somebody you would like to see in the Continental
Hey,
Classic.
listen, Kyle Fletcher, his name's on the table right now. Also, just personally, I would love to see Daniel Garcia in there. I don't know if it's going to happen, winning the TNT Championship, but last year was that was kind of like his coming out party, I would say, right? So I wouldn't mind revisiting that again and getting the job done this year.
I'm going to go ahead and add Takeshita's name into that as well, because I love me some Takeshita.
Huh.
You don't like Takeshita?
No,
You got a problem with Takeshita?
I do like Takeshita.
He's amazing.
Very Don Callis heavy.
Yeah, it is. Listen, Don Callis has been really strong in the recruits.
He's doing it. This guy,
He's got
Don
quite
Callis.
the strong team behind him right now.
Bald bastard.
Certainly.
I would say this, since Jay White seems to be in the world title picture now, there's another guy who had much success as a singles, but not as of late. I want to see Juice Robinson in the
the Juice Man.
Oh, okay.
The Juice is loose.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. How about, I'm sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
thought we were just going to rattle
One
off
of
names.
you, please.
I would love. How about a guy like MJF?
Well, I
in the
was just going to
Continental
talk about
Con- right?
MJF's showcase tonight. MJF and Roderick Strong. What's your guys' takeaway from that? We've not seen MJF in the ring in quite some time. We've seen some of these moments of him obviously keeping a very close eye on what's going on Dynamite between Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, baby. What do we think of what we saw tonight?
I mean, I thought he looked great, and he got the job done. Right?
Yeah.
Going after the arm, and he did it.
He's always been the constant. I would say Adam Cole, Roderick Strong made wild miscalculations. And I think they need to go back to the drawing board.
It was personal for them, right?
Yeah, maybe a little too personal.
Yeah. And I don't think MJF looks at it as personal.
How
To him,
about
it's all business.
how about Kyle O'Reilly tonight?
Oh, that's right. That push.
Girl?
Hey?
Yeah,
Like, it
hell
took
of a
me back.
push.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at
certainly
all.
did. Well, things that we know are happening on Dynamite this week in Chicago. We've got the Continental Classic is going to be beginning. We'll see what kind of names are being added into that. I really hope that we get some of those. I really love the way that we were talking to the guys before and after those matches last year. I hope that we get to see more of that because stylistic.
Oh, right.
It was
Yeah.
great. Loved it.
We kind of kept it going all year.
Yeah.
Like here and there.
Oh,
right?
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Change the game.
And then we've also got Chris Jericho taking on Ishii for the Ring of Honor World Championship. That's happening this week. Any predictions of what's going to happen between those guys on Dynamite?
Chopping,
A lot of
redness,
chops?
my prayers to
Remember that
Jericho's
last one? The last
chest.
time, right? The last time, I think it was in the same building
That's
in
great.
Chicago, right? Wintrust, and they just chopped the living hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Yes,
20 minutes, something like that.
Also, I guess officially announced tonight, Fight for the Fallen, the first Dynamite of the new year,
Mhm.
is allegedly the mother of all simulcasts.
Oh my-
as we will be on TBS and we'll be on Max.
Yay!
about that,
We're really doing. It's really coming up AEW
This is
around here.
something.
I love it. I love it.
Exciting.
Well, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us for the post show as we kind of just put a pin in all of the things. Looking forward to what's going to happen on Dynamite. So we'll see you guys on Dynamite. See you at Dynamite.
Yes, ma'am.
See you at Dynamite.
I guess.
Thank you, guys.
Post show, pre scrum. Thank you.
All right, guys, stick here with us because we are going to Please welcome still our TBS champion, Mercedes Moné, and the one, the only, Tony Khan. Come on down. Tony, you did it again. Another great pay-per-view.
We did it. Great to see you guys. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO, the TBS champion, the face of the network.
Oh my, should I pick that up?
We'll get it later.
We have people who work here actually, so it's great. Mercedes, a huge congratulations on retaining the TBS championship, an incredible showing against Chris Statlander. How are you feeling following that match? I mean, it was a long, grueling match.
I'm actually really sore right now. I'm bruised up, a little broken, but I'm so thankful that I came out the victor. And I hope Camille watched that in catering and enjoyed the dry chicken. And you just learned how to get the job done right. I don't care if your arm is broken, if it's hurt. When I tell you to do something, you got to do it done right. Renee, I hope Camille watched what I did to Chris tonight because it was incredible. And Chris, I feel like I say this every time I come to these media scrums, every time I wrestle these women in AEW, they're the best. And for me, Willow's up there, but Chris, she has given me my hardest match that I've ever had here in AEW. And I commend her for that. You know, she was a tough competition. She gave me everything. I mean, I don't want to call her a bitch, but that bitch even threw me through a wall. Yeah. She's strong, but I'm better. And I am the greatest TBS champion of all time. So is there any question from the annoying IWC internet media? Go ahead, first guy in the front row, raise your hand higher. I can't see it from here. What?
Hi, Mercedes.
Hi.
Liam Crowley with Screen Rant.
From where?
Screen Rant.
Screen Right?
Screen Rant.
We
I never heard of it, but go ahead.
covered all your Mandalorian.
They do a good job. They do a great job.
Mandalorian? Okay,
Sure
okay. I'm
did.
sorry. What's your name again?
Liam Crowley.
I love Liam. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Mercedes. You're the champion of TBS right now, which
I
means
am.
you're representing the network. But when we come around in January, AEW is also going to be on Max. So how does it feel to be champion of the network, but also by proxy, soon to be champion of a streaming service?
It feels so good. It feels like money. I know I've already talked to HBO Max. They love me. They're so ready for us in January. We are so ready for the new year. I am already ready for 2025, Tony.
It's going to be the mother of all simulcasts, January 1st.
Everything. I just feel like we've already announced so many amazing things in 2025. I am ready for it. I know we're still in November. There's so much more exciting things to come in December, but 2025 is going to be such an exciting time for AEW, and to be the TBS Women's Champion is exciting. And I just hope one day maybe you can make a Max title too for me to hold, because you know how much I love the gold, Tony.
There's a lot of
You never
championships
know.
on the table.
You never know. Well, I see 1, 2. How many questions do we have here? If you're all the way in the back, I'm not going to answer you. That means you're not
on.
that great.
Come on.
We got this
What
guy
about
right
you?
here, Mercedes.
No.
Hello.
What?
My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 and
I met you
iHeartRadio.
before. What's up, my dude?
What's going on? You good? You good?
Obviously,
There you go.
I'm the champ. I'm great.
Double champ, 2 different companies.
Mhm.
What is your main goal for 2025?
Just to keep on winning, keep on making money, and I really want more gold. When I wear my TBS championship around my waist and I wear my New Japan Strong around my shoulder, my other shoulder is cold. It hurts. It's winter time. I need something. I need more gold. So 2025, I'm coming for everything that I deserve. And I'm so thankful for AEW for that opportunity, because I've gotten that so far. But 2025, I want more gold. I want more opportunity. I want to keep on changing the game of women's wrestling here in AEW, because the women here, I know the slogan is the best is here, but the women's wrestling here is the greatest. And I felt like me and Chris Statlander proved that tonight. And I cannot wait for 2025. Not all the way in the back, Adam. Do not give it to the guy all the way in the back. I don't know who that guy is.
Hi, Eric, Adventures in Collecting podcast. So the CEO is no stranger to having an action
Which
figure.
CEO are you talking to?
You.
Thank you.
But you have yet to have an AEW action figure. So When can we expect to get a Mercedes action
This
figure into
guy.
our collections?
This guy is not a fan. I don't like him.
Totally a fan.
Let me just copy.
He's
his
got a
head.
good point. He's got a good point.
He doesn't have a good point, because if he had a good point, then he would have known when I went to San Diego Comic-Con, they announced my action figure.
It's true. But we can't wait to get it.
The same place that Tony made the match with Britt Baker at All In. So you know what? You just need to be patient, okay? We already announced so many exciting things for 2025, so just wait. Your Mercedes Moné action figure is coming next year. One last question, because I have to go. I have to get out of this nasty city. It smells. Not all the way in the back. Adam, second row. Who? Oh,
Hi.
a lady. What's up?
Oh, okay, from FIFO. Congratulations on your retaining your victory today.
Thank you.
We did get the announcement that there is going to be a tournament in Japan. You do have another belt there from Japan. I was just wondering, you mentioned your 2025 goals, if that was something that you were interested in possibly participating in.
What title is it for?
Wrestle Dynasty. She's
Well, your
saying, would
Wrestle
you be interested in
Dynasty tournament.
participating at Wrestle Dynasty?
Correct.
Oh my goodness. If I am the TBS champion and the New Japan Strong champion, then absolutely you can expect me at Wrestle Dynasty in Japan at the Tokyo Dome, right?
It's a collaboration between AEW and New Japan. So I'm sure they're going to want to get the New Japan Strong Women's Champion and the TBS Champion
I'm
on
gonna have
Wrestle
to talk
Dynasty.
to my CEO, and we got to plan that out. Yeah.
Well, Mercedes, thank you so much.
This poor guy in the
Oh,
back.
No,
Come on,
Tony,
Mercedes.
Tony,
Come on.
Tony.
All right.
I don't even know if he has a site, a YouTube, a podcast, or nothing. He just looks like a fan back
He
there.
looks like a nice guy.
Which one are you talking
This
to?
guy right here. He's
No, I gotta go.
He's got
I gotta go back.
glasses? All right,
I
I'm gonna
gotta get
answer
out of New
his
Jersey.
question.
I'm going to New York.
All right, I will
And
answer his
after New York,
question.
I'm going back to Boston. Tony, I love you. Great
you.
pay-per-view tonight. I'll
Thank
see you next week.
I'll
at
take care of
AEW
this guy. I'll
Dynamite.
take care of this
Are
guy.
we
Thanks, Shane.
celebrating anywhere tonight? Are we celebrating somewhere?
Renee, I'll just text you, but
Okay.
no, I can't tell it to everybody because
Okay.
I don't want these people to come.
Text me.
Yeah.
Text me.
Get me out of here.
Let's go.
Tony, do you want to take a question? Do you
Oh,
want to field a question?
Yeah, from the poor gentleman in the back that we've offended. I would love to hear his question
Okay.
before we bring somebody in. I'll take
All
one in the
right.
interim.
All right,
Before
we'll
we,
take the one question.
I'll take one question, then I'm going to bring in our next guest.
Black Wrestling Podcast.
Hi.
So, hello, Tony. So, I had a question. So, Mercedes had one of the longest, if not the longest, women's match in AEW, which I did not know.
Yeah.
Now, as far as this pay-per-view is concerned, we had a lot of matches, only one women's match, but with Willow attacking Marina Shafir. We haven't seen Marina in action. Is that alluding? Are we going to get something from Marina soon?
It's very interesting. I mean, it was interesting to see somebody stand up to Marina. Marina's been a real bully lately, and I think it was good to see the conglomeration standing up, and that was a very exciting part of the match. It's a good question. I think it was great to see Willow back in AEW. She'd been out injured for several weeks. She's a huge part of the company, and it was good to see that whole conglomeration group out there fighting for Orange Cassidy. And you know, I think it's awesome to have Willow back. You know, we just had Mercedes in here. I think tonight was one of Mercedes' greatest matches. Like you said, it was the longest women's match in AEW history, and I think it was one of the greatest matches on a great show. And Mercedes had so many great matches since she came over to AEW and New Japan, and I thought tonight was a great night. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest coming into the room, let's give it up to a man who's undefeated in AEW. He's 1-0. What a comeback.
Here he is. Big Boom AJ. Hi.
Thank you so much.
How you doing?
Couldn't be any better.
I'm going to give you center stage, my
Let's
friend.
bring the boom.
AJ, what a huge moment, huge reaction. I'm sure you anticipated some of this, but man, to hear the Prudential Center going bonkers for all of you guys, how are you feeling after that?
There's no greater feeling in the world. I said it all along the way. I said there's just nothing like professional wrestling. I mean, we have such a great time making our TikToks, making our YouTube videos, meeting with some of the greatest creators in the world. I just always knew with professional wrestling, when you come through that curtain and you feel that connection with the audience, and especially here in my home state of New Jersey, right at the Prudential Center, just no greater feeling in the world. Thank you so much, AEW.
Thank you.
Let's open up the questions to the media here.
Hey, Jay. John Alba from Wealthy Geeks.
Hi, John.
Just going to go to both of you and Tony here. Tony famously talks about how AEW is for the sickos. And yet the type of match that you had tonight was something that you typically don't see on AEW TV. So what did you try to bring to the table with a match like this? And Tony, what did you learn from the experience of having a match like this on the card?
You can take it first.
Thank you, Tony. And thanks, John. So the thing is this, with our channel, I think that why we've made such a difference and why we've grown the way we've grown is because it's who we are. It's what we do. We bring happiness to the world. That's who AJ and Big Justice are. That's who Ashley and Mama Justice are. And that's what we want to bring to professional wrestling. And yeah, it's a different side of things. And it's about making people happy. And it's about being a hero and being there for people and sending people home happy. So that's really what I always wanted to bring when I came back to professional wrestling.
It was great. And it was absolutely fantastic to have AJ make the big comeback here in AEW. What a great night for us. And also, it's been great doing the media. I have to say, I work with some of the biggest athletes. I work in football and wrestling, some huge stars. Frankly, my dad is a very recognizable person in the world of sports. I've walked around with some of the biggest names in sports and in TV and movies. And I have to say that I don't know if I've never seen anything like going around and doing Fox and doing the media with AJ and Justice yesterday. And Big Justice and AJ are incredibly popular. And we were at Fox yesterday, and pretty much every woman and man off camera and the on camera talent, every single person at Fox wanted to take photos and videos with AJ and Big Justice, the whole family. And they are so popular. And I think, like he said, the positivity and the authenticity, it's really cool. It's really, like I said to you on TV, and I meant it yesterday on Fox, it's really nice to work with a father and son that love working together, to be with a father and son. And I think it's a blessing to see a father and a son working together and having so much success together, especially that Justice gets to do it from such a young age, and they're having fun out there. He's having fun with his friend, the Rizzler, and it was fun for the fans tonight. And I had a great time doing the media with AJ and with Big Justice, Justice is such a respectful and professional young man, far beyond his years. And it was great to have these guys here. They're marketing geniuses, and what genii? And I have to say, it's amazing to me, John, that this whole phenomenon of Costco guys, this whole phenomenon of Big Boom AJ and Big Justice and the Rizzler, this has all been happening for less than a year. He started this in January of this year. He built something so strong, built a social media empire in months, and how quickly it all came together. And I think for the people here in AEW, we can relate to that because we also worked in something that we built from the ground up as a family. It's not literally a blood family necessarily, but I did get to work with my father really closely on it and built a work family. And it all came together really quickly. And to watch what you guys have built in under a year and as a family, it's awesome. So
thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Plus, it helps that Big Justice could throw a devastating spear, right?
Yeah, Big Justice, what a spear, man.
Hi.
Oh, sure.
Aria Whitner at 4wonline.com. I was wondering, how long did it take for this all to come together? Because I believe you were just on the pay-per-view last month, and now you're wrestling QT. It seemed to just come together pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Was it that quick, or was it something you were talking about for a while?
I think it did come together quickly, and I'm happy about that. And I've absolutely loved working with AEW every step of the way. It's been a dream. I love professional wrestling. I mean, such an opportunity to come together. So, I mean, when Sanjay and, at the time, QT, when he was still my friend, when they reached out and they said, we would love to have you in Chicago for All Out, I said, you know what? Pro wrestling's in my blood. I'd love to do this side by side with Big Justice. So we came out to Chicago. And then right from there, the internet was asking for it. The wrestling audience was asking for it. Big Boom AJ, when are you getting in the ring? So got the call from QT. We got the green light, of course, from Tony here, and we made it happen quick. I couldn't get in the ring soon enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 2 more questions.
What's up, Big AJ? Liam Crowley from Screen Rant.
What's going on, Liam?
on social media, people were raving about just your promo ability, how it just came so naturally. It feels like after, you've been in the ring for 20 years, it's like a second instinct. It just kicks in. I feel like we'd be remiss if we don't get more of you in AEW. Was this a one-off match, or do you have plans down the line to keep on wrestling?
Please come back.
I love it here. I do. Thank you. I love it here. I loved every minute of this. If I'm welcome back, I'm going to be back, and I'm going to bring the boom.
You're welcome back.
From Power 88.1, do you think you could go for the AEW title and knock down Jon Moxley?
I think I'm having a lot of fun where I am right now. I think I'm really loving everything that Big Justice and I have an opportunity to do. Again, we talked about some of the creators that we've been with. We've had an opportunity to meet Mr. Beast. We've had an opportunity to meet some of the biggest creators in the world, work with Costco, work with some of the greatest brands in the world, stay in contact with our audience. So there's a lot we're doing right now. So I don't think a championship run is in my future. I think, that would take a lot of dedication that I'm not sure I have right now. But you know what? To be here at AEW and wrestle multiple times throughout the year and see where that goes, I think that's kind of more of the direction I'm leaning. But I'm getting a sad face over here. So
no, I love it. I want you to keep going. I absolutely love working with you. You are such a breath of positivity. You're undefeated in AEW.
Want to know in AEW, right?
Got the boom.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
AJ, thank you so much, and thank you for spending time here with us in AEW, putting on a great match tonight. And hopefully we'll get to see you guys out here soon.
Thank you so much, Renee. Tony,
thank you
so much.
Thank
Everybody else out there, thank you so much. Bring the boom!
Thank you so much.
That chair out of the way. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, AJ. And speaking of champions and championships, we're about to be joined by great champions. And I think, you know what? We might want to get another chair on this
stage. They can have this chair. I'll sit back here.
Fantastic. Welcome to the Scrum.
Hey, yo, this is our first Scrum.
Let's go. It was a layup. That was always going to happen.
I'm mad hype.
Hi, guys.
What's going on, Renee?
Fantastic.
Oh
Fantastic.
my gosh, I'm so new to all of this.
Let's go, Mark. Let's go, Zach.
Damn, you're on the Scrum with it.
Guys,
Let's see the fit though.
You know what? Both of you. Quinn, you get up and do a spin too, because you got a good outfit too. The pants are great. Do you want to do a spin too, Tony?
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Guys, the odds.
Tony got a good outfit on. Tony got a good outfit.
Thank you. Nothing like you. Nothing like you. Nothing like you. I don't have it.
Guys, the odds were stacked against you massively tonight in this 4-way matchup, yet you still retained that gold. How are you feeling still hanging on to those titles?
Man, I could sing right now. You want me to sing?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me hear something. Baby, I just don't get it. Do you enjoy being hurt? Oh, nah, I feel good, man. I feel really, really good. It's pretty cool because at the beginning of this year, the first ever Dynamite of 2024, we came into this arena and we said, "New year, new champs."
From a twin pack.
Yeah, literally. And we reunited as a team at this same arena, and then months later, we came back into Newark, New Jersey, at the Prudential Center at full gear as tag team champions. So I am very proud to say that we are here as your tag team champions. It's been a long wait, but better late than never, y'all.
I'm about to say, wait, hold on. I would definitely love to quote our pops, if that's okay with you, Tony.
Please.
Yeah.
I feel wonderful.
Yes. That's great.
Guys, it's your first media scrum. You guys ready to open it up to everybody?
Yes.
All right, let's get into it.
Hey, wait, before y'all start though, I am so hyped to be here because I've been watching media scrums. Like, man, I really want to be here. And the fact that I'm here with y'all, kind of like my little backyard, but I'm in New York.
Oh,
I'm in New Jersey now, but like it's really cool to be here. So I'm
This
excited.
is our cherry popper.
Yeah. Whoa. Okay. All right. Good thing you're on YouTube.
Hi guys, Eric, Adventures in Collecting Podcast.
Good, Eric.
You guys have had a an amazing run right now. You know, you guys are on fire. You guys have had one action figure each so far from Jazzwares, but you guys have incredible ring gear that you're constantly rotating out. If you guys could make one additional action figure for each of you, what ring gear would you pick?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Probably the
Definitely,
belts.
definitely where we won the belts. When we beat the Young Bucks October 30th, you know, in Cleveland, Ohio. If y'all watching, you know, maybe I'm.
Also, when we beat them the 9th, because I like that gear too.
That was a good one too.
Yeah.
Pink and blue.
Yeah,
And
pink and blue.
yeah, so either tonight was really good gear too.
Yeah.
Tonight, you beat neon green and some black. You know, we changed it up. But definitely, if I had to pick, I'd probably say the night we beat the Bucks. It was like purple and not purple, but blue and purple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, blue and purple. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
As long as the belts come with them too.
Yeah, the belts have to come with it.
And the velvet rope.
And the velvet rope.
Yep.
And cheesecake.
You're right.
Yeah. We should be like, you have cheesecake upper half, I have the lower half.
Yeah. You gotta collect them all.
Yep.
all.
That's great.
What's up? Josh Martinez from Z100 and iHeartRadio.
Okay.
Let's go, Josh.
So yeah, from around the way.
We are.
How different is it performing in front of family and friends, basically in your market, your home market, compared to every other place in the world?
Can you answer that?
Yeah. Okay. So for me, it's more pressure because growing up, my family was always tough on me, and like, you know, I never really wanted them to come to my shows and stuff because one slip up, if I hear anyone laughing, I know it's my family. So the pressure is on rather than from me being like far out away from home. But I still love it.
I would say like I just live in the moment. You know, I can't really eye out my family when I'm in the moment. So it's one of those things where I'm living in the moment and just taking it all in. And then I remember one time he was like when we won the belts, and that's when I zoned out because my mom and my stepfather and my little brother, they was front row, and I remember we won the belts, and I got up and I said, I told y'all. But to answer your question, I think it's all the same, to be honest. I honestly just live in the moment. I don't even notice nobody, to be honest.
I remember your mom's face when I accidentally hit you with the bell.
Yeah, she was gonna whoop your ass for sure.
Yeah, I looked up at her, I was like,
yeah.
Guys, we'll take 2 more questions for the tag champs.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? John from the Ropes
Bless.
and Riffs podcast.
That's good,
We
John.
saw a live performance today of somebody's entrance during your tag team match. If 2025 is the year for you guys to have someone play you to the ring, who's going to be playing you to the ring?
Oh, I like that. Damn, Quinn, you go first. Let me think.
I'm trying to think of someone that hasn't been done in wrestling. I'd probably say Drake.
Drake is a good one.
Yeah.
Drake is a good one. I'm gonna say if we ever do a Brooklyn show, fingers crossed, I'm gonna say we do Jay-Z and Jay-Z performs Brooklyn We Go Hard.
Oh yeah, that's all right. Yeah. You got that one. Yeah, you got that.
Now that being said, there was a lot of fanfare for the return of Shots tonight.
So listen, wait, hold on. So what y'all think about Shots? Be honest. We keeping it, y'all be honest.
Big reaction.
Yeah, y'all want
pop,
shots or
right?
flat?
Yeah,
Big shot.
all right, we
Which one
keeping
y'all want?
it. We keeping it. Y'all want it, y'all got it.
Love it.
101.9 Kiss FM, 3NC Wrestling.
I listen to that.
Respect. My question is, wrestling is more popular than ever right now. It's in a huge boom right now, and there's a lot of people like us watching again. So, what does it feel like being one of the faces of the company and having kids growing up looking up to you right now? How does it feel to represent the culture?
2 of the faces of the company.
So,
Facts, definitely.
That's actually a great question because yesterday was it yesterday? It was yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
we just experienced that.
Yesterday we decided to take upon ourselves, and there's this community called TWC. There's a bunch of, I don't know if you know what TWC. There's a bunch of kids that look like us, and they're from our neighborhood in Brooklyn. And I reached out to the teacher. His name is Perry, and we said, whatever. I've been trying to reach out with him and get up with the kids for a very long time, but we just schedules never really aligned. And we said, I don't know how we can make this happen, but we would love to, go talk to the kids and like just feel their energy and just kind of motivate them and inspire them. He said he wanted to video chat, and I said, I don't think we should video chat. I think they need to see us in person. So yesterday we got up really early in the morning. We went to Brooklyn and we got to talk to the kids. And when I tell you, that was the most, I almost got emotional because I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Yeah, I saw he couldn't talk.
Yeah,
I
I
wanted
was
to say something.
I was
words
lost
not
for
coming out.
words. But just seeing the impact that we have on kids, especially like kids that look like us and kids, from our neighborhood, is really an unbelievable feeling. And I feel like it's our job to make sure that we put on for the community and that we always inspire. And it means a lot knowing that, actually showing them like we're living proof of we come from your neighborhood, we came back to your school, and not only did we come back to your school, we came back to your school as tag team champions.
From the projects to the squared
and
circle.
I wanted to show them like, if we could do it, y'all could do it, because we only grew up from down the block from where the school was at. So like we're literally right there, and we're living proof of if you want to make it happen, you can. Anything is possible. So our main goal for going to that school yesterday was to show them that, listen, if you're really determined, if you really want to make it happen, you can. And I think we inspired those kids based on those videos and based on the reactions that we got yesterday. So that's probably like right up there with winning those tag team championships.
Wait, Zay, can you picture us being the Shelton Benjamins, the Bobby Lashley's, the MVPs? Because that's how we looked up. I looked up to them.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, imagine.
Yesterday I felt that way. I felt like honestly, yesterday was a really, really, really humbling experience, and it really meant the world to me that those kids look up to us and how big the impact we made on them. So I'm very grateful for that experience that we did yesterday. Shout out TWC, man.
Yeah.
Zay and Quen, thank you guys both so much for coming out here. Congratulations on your win tonight. Keep leading the charge.
Thank you guys for 5 great years, and here's to many more. Thank you very much. 5 years.
Hey.
5 years of private party.
I just want to say one of the biggest flexes that I have to say is we are AEW originals. And I'm leaving like that. AEW OGs, come out, Tony.
Thank you, guys. That means a lot. And now we have an opportunity to create one of those beautiful ships passing in the night moments. Let's have it. Let's have it right here. The new TNT champion. What's a real one?
It's a special moment for me. That's my best friend. I'm happy.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Sit wherever you want.
Right here is good. Congratulations.
Garcia, your first AEW championship, now the TNT champion. This looks amazing on you.
Thank you.
Tonight felt like your night. I mean, I think we were all waiting for this moment for you. It finally happened. Has it sunk in for you now?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you kind of work a lot of years for. I came into AEW, and I think I challenged for the TNT title like one of my first months, against Sammy Guevara. So I feel like this has always been like a bucket list thing for me at AEW, and it's something that I wanted to accomplish. I felt like it was like a ghost that I was trying to chase for a very long time, and I feel like tonight I finally captured that ghost.
It meant a lot to see you celebrating in this big arena with all these fans, and to see you put the AEW flag on your back.
That was cool, right?
That was really cool.
I thought it was cool too. I went back and did an interview. The first Dynamite of the year, Prudential Center. We did our the first close-up main event against Swerve. So it's kind of like a cool way. It's not officially end the year, but like kind of end the year where we started it with Swerve. I thought it was a really cool thing.
That's a really good point.
Having just won the TNT championship and having this massive moment, you still seem a little bit reserved. Do you feel like what do you want to do next? What's up?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of just how I am. I feel like you want to accomplish something so bad, and then you get it, and like you think it's gonna fulfill something inside you, but like it never really does. And I feel like there's still like a lot more that I want to do here, and I feel like I'm still hungry. I feel like I want to accomplish more. So I will say right now, there's been nobody announced yet. I'm going to be the first person to announce myself for the Continental Classic. I'll be returning this year. I feel like last year it was a very important part of my journey over the past year of AEW. I feel like my story was very important in that tournament into like building the identity of what the Continental Classic was. So I feel like it would be a shame for me not to come back and be part of that again. So I'm really excited. Hopefully I do a little bit better than next year. We'll see. I'm walking in with a lot more confidence this time. So we'll see what happens.
Very excited about that.
Media, have at 'em.
What's up?
The last time I talked to you on a scrum, you said you wanted to fight for everyone who loves AEW. And now that you finally won gold, do you feel like you did that?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that. I feel like that now more than ever. We're in a very weird time at AEW where there's just a lot of chaos. And it feels like not everybody that's here and is part of AEW has the best interests of AEW in their hearts. So I feel like having people like me around, people like Private Party around who, you know, like we'll die for this place. I feel like having people like that is very important. So if anybody else feels like that, I feel like I represent them. That's why I saw the person with the AEW flag. Sorry if that fan is watching this. I took his flag. I never brought it back to him. It's sitting somewhere backstage probably, but I thought it was a cool like moment to represent what I stand for and who I am.
It's awesome.
John Alba, Wealth of Geeks. Dan, so many times in wrestling, a talent gets really hot with the crowd. They're with them on the journey, and then they come up short, and it's really hard to get the crowd back. It's happened 3 or 4 times with you, and the crowd is with you every single time. What do you think it is about you or your journey that resonates with people that has afforded you a chance like this?
That's a really good question. I mean, of course, I'm afforded a lot of really good opportunities. Like that's never lost on me. I feel like I've been in a very good spot for basically the entire time I was in AEW. But I feel like someone like me, I feel like people can relate to people coming up short. They can relate to somebody who is going through so much, and you can just tell, even though they're not winning right now, they're trying and like they're gonna do whatever it takes to try to win. And I feel like that's something just a lot of people can relate to in everyday life. You know, not every day is a great day. Not every day you're gonna be a winner, but every day we wake up and try to be winners. And I feel like that's what I represent for a lot of people.
Hi, Aria from F4WOnline.com. Trying to follow up on what he asked. In the past few years, you've had a bit of stalled momentum at times. Were you concerned when you began your recent feud with MJF and now becoming champion that the fans may not react so well, as at least right away, considering we've seen in the past you having great feuds with people like Danielson and then not really doing much for a few months afterwards? Thank you so much.
Yeah, I feel like every performer probably in any form of entertainment kind of feels that way. I feel like everybody assumes that like we're all insecure. That's probably why we're wrestlers. That's why people get into the entertainment business, because we want validation from other people, right? So I feel like a lot of us are self-conscious, and a lot of us, of course, feel like, dang, I hope they're going to be with me. I hope this isn't the last time that the crowd's going to get behind me. But I think if you're confident enough in your work and you're confident enough in yourself, and I'm sure Tony can attest to, I think I'm one of the most confident people in my work and in myself. I feel like if you have that confidence into yourself, like you should never be worried that people aren't going to come for you, because I think people can tell that confidence, and that's something that I'm very sure of myself in. I think no matter what happens, I think I'll be able to, you know, keep the crowd caring about me. I hope so anyways.
2 more questions for Garcia.
Hi, Daniel, Dave Weinbrecht from the Adventures in Collecting podcast. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on winning the TNT title. You recently had your first action figure released, and seeing how the TNT title has been customized by pretty much everyone who's ever won it, do you have any plans to customize it? And do you see that as a way to get kind of on the front foot of getting another figure pretty quickly?
I mean, that's a good question, but you know, I'm not really in it for the figures. I'm not really in it for custom titles. I feel like this is a belt with a lot of lineage. This is Cody Rhodes' title. This is Brody Lee's title, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage. And I feel like I just got it out of the hands of somebody who treated it like a prop. And I feel like it's in the hands of somebody now who's going to treat it like a championship. And that's what it's going to become again. So no, I don't want to. I want to keep it like this.
What's up? Josh Martinez from iHeartRadio. To confirm, that was your mother that did the voiceover for your intro? Yes. Was she here tonight?
Yeah, the whole family was here tonight.
How was it winning that title in front of the whole family?
I mean, it's amazing. I feel like my family is just part of AEW now. They come to like any show that's in driving distance, any big match I have, I fly my family out. Like Tony sees them all the time. But just getting to wrestle and perform in front of my mom, it's like the greatest feeling ever. Like my mom is the reason why I'm into wrestling, because she had it on when I was a kid and she was a fan, so I became a fan. And my sister used to get me out of school early to wait behind the arena to meet the wrestlers at the shows. So it's really cool to like see these moments with my family where they didn't know that I was going to become a wrestler, but they of course planted the seeds and they made it possible for me to become a wrestler. So it's really cool to be able to share just the biggest moments of my professional career with my family. It's like sharing those moments with my family means more to me than winning any match or winning any title ever would. Respectfully, of course.
It's great.
Danny, thank you so much. A
Thank
huge
you.
congratulations. Can't wait to see you in the Continental Classic.
I love it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, guys, joining us now, another man who had a hell of a night. We've got Kyle Fletcher alongside Don Callis and Takeshita, the international champion.
Big night for the family here. Let's watch it on the way out.
Let me get out of the way.
Very, very good. A few gentlemen who had a very big night tonight.
Hi.
Congratulations, Don.
Floor is yours. Come on in.
Where am I sitting? You're right here, Kyle. Congratulations.
Sit next to the boss.
You don't get a seat?
No, he's
probably not.
Sucked in, Don.
Thank you very much, Kyle.
Hey.
Put it there.
Thank you.
Of course.
And congrats to the champ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Takeshita gave Don his seat. Now I look like a bad person.
Kyle, we'll start things with you. This
course.
was a massive night for you. This felt like this was your coming out party tonight. I mean, you and Will Ospreay. Do you feel like this was you really planting your flag?
Oh, of course. I think I knew that coming into it. I think I've felt like this match was a very long time coming for me. Felt like it had a lot of build up for me in my own head. Me and Don obviously had this conversation beforehand, but the fact that I did it on my own, did it my way, I think that's the biggest mark of it all, you know? And yeah, we got the job done like we knew we would.
All right, we'll take some questions for, I guess, all members of the Don Callis family.
I'm here from the Believe Network. A big night for the Don Callis family. What's next for you guys? So you guys can go for the tag titles?
Well, here's the thing. There's never been an assembly of talent in this company, Tony Khan, with all due respect, a company with great talent. There's never been anything like what we've got going on. You talk about Takeshita, who may be the best bell-to-bell wrestler on the planet, and the international title tells you that that's what he is. Kyle Fletcher set the world on fire tonight. He beat the guy that everyone said was a phenomenon, that everyone said is a phenomenon, and he is. I manage Will Ospreay, I know, but what Kyle did tonight is unprecedented. And then you talk about Lance Archer and Brian Cage, and the potential there is enormous. We are going to start squashing tag teams. He is going to show everybody that he is exactly what I just said he is, the best bell-to-bell wrestler in the world, and Kyle Fletcher is the future of professional wrestling, without a doubt a future world champion, as is Takeshita. The biggest challenge I have, Tony Khan, is figuring out how to keep both of these dogs happy.
Hi, Kate from Fightful. Kind of a two-parter, if I can be greedy, Kyle.
Hell yeah.
I've seen your rise since coming in here. Obviously, with Mark Davis's injury, things got a little bit stilted. Saw your ROH title run, and then today the crowd was just chanting AEW, fight forever. To see you rise through and kind of capture the spirit of AEW, what did that mean to you tonight? And Don, what did you see in Kyle Fletcher that you knew that you wanted to target him to be a part of the Don Callis family? Thanks.
I mean, I'll go first if that's
Yeah,
okay
please.
with you, Don.
Sure.
For me, I think the fact that I came into AEW when I did means that I kind of got to watch the early days from afar. And watching from afar, I feel like it gave me kind of a different appreciation for it before coming in. Not to say I wouldn't have loved to be a part of it back then, but I think the way that things happen for a reason. I think I came in at the right time for me. I came in almost, I don't want to say unknown, obviously my work in New Japan, but to a large majority of the audience, maybe unknown. And tonight, in every single aspect, felt like the coming out party for me. And the fact that I can now say that I embody the spirit of AEW, I mean, yeah, it's just icing on the cake for me, really. It feels really cool.
To answer your question, I pride myself on not just being able to see the talent right in front of me, but the talent that's going to be talent down the line. I think, Tony, you've experienced that not just in wrestling, but in football and in soccer, of course. You got to have a prescient nature about yourself to see it. Now, me personally, I've never cared much for children. I've never wanted to have kids. I find kids annoying because what children do is they ultimately—
Quote that, everyone.
They
please.
ultimately—
That's the headline from this press.
They ultimately disappoint you. I had that experience with Kenny. I took Kenny like a son, and he was a colossal disappointment, mentally weak, pathetic. But now what I've got is I feel like I've got two sons here, if I can use that term.
I'm gonna cry.
And if I did have to have children, I would want them to be exactly like these two, because you can be proud, if you're a wrestling fan, of Konosuke Takeshita and of Kyle Fletcher.
My guy.
Yes, DDM from Black Wrestling Podcast. So, Kyle, the match was a banger. We knew that was going to happen.
Thanks, man.
But what I want to talk about is something a lot of people don't pay attention to in the IWC is your presentation, man.
Sure.
Working with Don Callis, how has that influenced your overall feel? Because you came out the ring, you looked like a superstar. Everything was great. You're in this suit looking fabulous. Okay, how has that influenced?
We honestly, we didn't even plan on matching today, by the way. Just pointing that out.
How did that influence this coming out party, this kind of reintroduction and rebirth? Like, how is that making you feel in ring and outside of the ring?
Sure. I think any time that you have someone as knowledgeable as Don Callis by your side, it just elevates your game to another level. Because every time I'm coming back through the curtain, we have a conversation. Every time, right before I go out the curtain, we have a conversation. And there's just things that he will pick up that I would never even thought of. And I think having someone like that is so valuable. And in regards to my rebirth, whatever you want to call it, it really feels like I'm getting to to me, the biggest thing is confidence. I now have this confidence that maybe I didn't have in the past, and that allows me to bring more of myself out because I'm in there and I feel it because that's me. You're seeing me. And that's, I think, the coolest part, and I think Don has played a very big role in that, for sure.
Thank you. And I'd just like to add one thing, that it is amazing, but it's also equally amazing the transformation of Takeshita. When you look at Takeshita, not just he beat up Ricochet tonight. Takeshita, do you have anything to say for your Japanese and American fans quickly here?
Omareokyo. Kyle had big winning tonight, and I defended this title tonight too. That means the Don Callis family era has begun. You know.
Yeah.
Well said.
Oh, yeah.
Very well said. I, of course, understand and am fluent in Japanese. I know most of you are not, so thank you for speaking English to these people.
We'll just take one more question for the Don Callis family.
Jordan Colson, Evan Max, World of Wrestling. Gentlemen, Renee, how you doing? Kyle, now that is clear, abundantly clear, that you are a superior being in every way to Will Ospreay, is there any chance that you could ever reconcile in the near future, given the lineage of your relationship? If he admitted that you were a superior being in every way, could you ever mend the fences?
How is that clear? How is it clear he's a superior being to Will Ospreay?
Because he was dominant in victory, Tony.
Bigger, stronger, faster, better looking. Some people, Tony, think he's starting to look more like me now with his shaved head.
It's a great match, but to say it's clear he's a superior human being, I mean, I don't know. Will Ospreay is a pretty special human, Kyle. It was a great match, great win.
Get a lot of this guy, huh?
I don't know.
Wants to put over his boy still. I gotta commend it. Whether or not we reconcile, I think there has to be something very profound that needs to happen. I think, like you said, if maybe Will Ospreay turned around and said, "Hey, look, you are so much better than me. I love every single thing about you. I kiss the ground that you walk on." Hey, maybe I'd think about it. You know what I mean?
Then he'd be just like all of them.
Hey,
Because here's the thing I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to share
Please.
this with you. This will be my
Please.
last comment, boss. Okay. Here's the deal. Friends are overrated. Friends and family make you mentally weak. You have to be focused on being Kyle Fletcher. Will Ospreay, that friendship, I can buy you all the friends you need if that's something you need. We don't need blood-sucking wood ticks like Will Ospreay to take the shine off of us. So friends are for marks. No offense.
Period.
Thank you guys
That's
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
Kyle, congratulations on your win tonight. Takeshita as well. All right, guys, joining us now, a man off of his first pay-per-view victory here in AEW. We've got Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate.
Congratulations. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
How's everyone doing? Quiet in here. Makes me feel nervous.
Very intimidating group of gentlemen.
Bobby, congratulations on your win tonight. How much did your first pay-per-view victory mean to you tonight here in AEW?
I think it was fantastic. The crowd here was amazing, and I like to chant. We hurt people. That's good business. You know, this group has been long overdue to start taking over, and now that we got to AEW, it is time to take over. We need to start holding these titles hostage. But it was nice. Thank you.
What's going on, gentlemen? Congratulations on tonight. My name is Josh from iHeartRadio. This is specifically for Bobby. No disrespect, gentlemen. What keeps you motivated?
Winning. No, I mean, I love wrestling.
Bobby, that's a dumbass question, man. Don't answer that shit, man.
See, there you go. You're gonna piss him off. I knew you were gonna piss him off too.
Jesus Christ, man. Give us some
motivated.
What keeps you motivated?
This is a great opportunity for us coming over here to AEW to build something special, and we've always wanted to run the Hurt Syndicate. And now that we have the opportunity to run the syndicate, then we can show you what we're capable of doing. So that's what keeps me motivated. That and then winning titles. I have a title in TNA, WWE.
Tick, 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 tick. Next question.
I'm here from the Believe Network. First of all, you guys look fabulous.
From what?
From the Believe Network.
What is that?
It's a sports network.
From where?
On the internet.
Do you have a journalism degree?
Yes.
From where?
Full Sail University.
All right, proceed.
First of all, you guys look fabulous.
We know that. Get to the point.
You guys dominated tonight. What's next for the Hurt business?
More domination. Next question.
He's great. He's great.
Hey guys, Eric from the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
From what?
The Adventures in Collecting podcast.
They collect
Collectibles?
Action figures.
Like toys?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You guys are no strangers to the action figure world, and you guys are no strangers to being together in a very powerful group. Very powerful group deserves a very powerful kind of collectible. How do you guys feel about maybe a 3-pack, a special box set containing all of you for the first time together to commemorate the group that you're in?
That's a brilliant idea, long overdue. Tony, make it happen.
It's a great
Next
idea.
question.
It's a great idea.
Aria from F4WOnline.com. A few years
From
ago,
what?
From F4W Online.
What is that?
It's a wrestling news website.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter.
No, we don't entertain any questions from that nerd. Next question.
I will answer your question.
Okay. Bobby, a few years ago before you went back to WWE, you had a pretty strong run as an MMA fighter. Now that you're out of WWE, are you looking to do MMA again in the future? And is Tony going to allow you to do it if you wanted to?
If you ever wants to do any fight, this guy can fight anybody on the planet. He would knock him out.
Deal done.
Tony said that better than I could. Next question.
Justin Durazio, Sports Radio 94 WIP in Philadelphia. MVP, I noticed that you were a little surprised by the fans singing your song back to you guys.
Who was surprised by that?
Well, you just seemed very excited. Let me rephrase, excited that everybody was singing.
Surprise and excitement are two very different things. Say what you mean what you say.
Yes, sir. What did it mean to you guys as a group to see the fan outcry while wrestling a former AEW World Champion and a fan favorite in Swerve Strickland?
It was magnificent. Next question.
Also, the final question.
Hi, Kate from
Last
Fightful.
one.
You guys seem very motivated to find gold here, and I just wanted to ask what it was like to come into a company and see so many Black champions, and what it meant to challenge right off the bat, essentially, a former Black world champion.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that Black champion. It's just a champion. See, we've normalized this already, and that's what I want to do with it. Winning a title as a Black champion, and there's other Black champions here. We can kind of erase that word now. We could just say champion. It could be a Black champion. It could be Asian champion. It can be Latin champion. It could be any champion. So we've already normalized that, so we can kind of erase that Black champion, and it's just champion now.
It's great.
Great. Well, guys,
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
I was going to give another one to go out on a nice note, but MVP's getting out of here.
On a high note.
Guys, thank you so much, Bobby.
Congrats, Bobby.
Congratulations tonight.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Fantastic. What a night we're having.
What a night. All right, let's open it up. Guys, Tony Khan's going to stay here and field some
We're
questions
in
from
the
you guys.
Renee and Tone zone.
That's right.
Great to see you, Corey.
It's good to see you, Tony. Corey Lieb with the Wrestling Observer. Two quick questions. First, how are the pay-per-view buys looking in regard, and also the gate? And then the second question I have is, we are now, I think, in the second area of the pay-per-view where Bleach Report is not part of your pay-per-view audience. Has there been a drop-off? Have you noticed anything different about where the buys are coming from, either from the TV or some of the other like Triller and YouTube and all that other stuff?
Well, you gave me a great segue. So to answer I'll go to the second question first, because it was a really good question, Corey. It's been huge for us because now for over 5 years, Bleacher Report, since the beginning, BR Live originally, then Bleacher Report had been the exclusive digital domestic pay-per-view arm for a long time, for the most part, for the better part of 5 years. And it was a huge change at WrestleDream. And that's why we were so excited about the WrestleDream buys, because really we needed cable, satellite, and all of our digital providers to really pick up. And that's why we were so happy to do a really good number for WrestleDream. I tonight now, because Bleacher Report was such a huge part of our same night projections, because it's Warner Brothers Discovery, it's our business partner. We got lots of really good data and able to project, because we don't necessarily get all the cable and satellite buys. Now cable and satellite have become, for now, in this time, maybe a bigger piece, as have all of the digital providers, YouTube, Triller, BBB.com, all picking up more of the domestic streaming slack now, and we're expecting all these different providers. But for many years, we pushed everything to Bleacher Report. So I was really, really happy with WrestleDream. I'm not sure yet on tonight. I don't really have all the numbers yet. I'm very optimistic. I expect it did, I strongly suspect, better than WrestleDream, and therefore really, really well. It's an exciting time for us. Last year, WrestleDream also performed really well. And, to come in this year for the second year of WrestleDream, we were really excited without Bleacher Report to do good numbers. I expect tonight Full Gear will also do great, probably even better than WrestleDream. And then expect we'll close out really strong with World's End. And next year we'll be launching a new pay-per-view platform during the year. And when we go to Max, that's going to be really exciting too for our fans. But thanks for asking, Cor.
Hi, Tony.
Hey.
Kimmy Sokol with the Pop Break. So in a couple weeks, you guys are actually going to be doing Collision from GalaxyCon.
Yes.
You also had some involvement with San Diego Comic-Con. So I was wondering if that is something you were looking to do more in 2025, involvement with pop culture con.
Absolutely. We've had great experiences. Going to San Diego Comic-Con was tremendous. We're really grateful to Warner Brothers Discovery and all the great PR people in AEW and at Warner Brothers Discovery, who helped put it together going to Comic-Con. We had great experience doing the panel, and we even put on a show there. Sometime I'd like to show it to you. Hopefully we get all the clearances for the Adult Swim, but the Adult Swim tag team tournament we had there was a lot of fun. If we ever get the rights to all those Adult Swim characters, I hope to show it all to you someday. And we're really excited about going to GalaxyCon in December. It's a great opportunity for us in Columbus, Ohio, to work with these great partners. And we had a great experience with Comic-Con. I think GalaxyCon is going to be great. And it's exciting that we get to bring it live on Collision on TNT on Saturday, December 7th in Columbus. Thanks for asking.
Mr. Khan, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, I'm very well. How are you?
I apologize for my best friend's outburst. I've known him half my life, man. You know what I mean? He's burying one of the greatest wrestlers alive in Will Ospreay. So my apologies, sir. Two-part question, brother. Listen, you've done such a great job with, you know, independence and gaining talent through that way, you know what I mean, and getting some up and comers to your company. Then I see WWE come up with this new advent of WWE ID. Do you feel like that's kind of hindering and hampering like how you going about business on the independent circuit? Are they snatching up all kinds of wrestlers like Pokemon? Is that bothering you? Is it ruffling your feathers? How's things working out, brother?
Well, it's interesting. I don't really know how it's going to work. I understand there's some kind of first right or refusal aspect of it, and we haven't really come up where it's been a conflict yet, but I do think it's definitely going to affect the independent scene in some ways. We've had a really great experience here over the years, bringing in young wrestlers. You know, through the pandemic, the best place for independent wrestlers to get work was at AEW and on AEW Dark and Elevation. And, you know, it's sitting here with somebody who's now the TNT champion, sitting with Garcia, somebody who came into Daly's place and was working on Dark and working on Elevation and started teaming with 2.0 at the time and built this friendship with Daddy Magic that's lasted. And to see now Daniel Garcia is the TNT champion, somebody who was a top independent wrestler, came in, wrestled on Dark, and has now worked his way into the top and is going to be competing in the Continental Classic, and somebody who's had this incredible 2024 and is now the TNT champion. It's a really, really exciting thing. And I think the women and men in AEW, we've seen so many great wrestlers work their way up from the independents. We've signed big free agents along the way too, and we have a lot of our homegrown day one people. It's a great mix, and I expect we'll keep signing great talent off the independents. I do think it's a different mechanism, so it's something to keep an eye on. It hasn't really created any major conflicts or anything yet, but I imagine it will definitely influence the independent wrestling scene. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. Thanks for asking.
Tony, to follow up real quick on the Costco stuff, this is one of the bigger cross-platform integrations that AEW has done. And one of the biggest things we hear in wrestling discourse all the time is the casual fan. And how do you reach that? You famously talk about the sickos. What is your approach to the idea of the casual fan? Does that exist? And how do you go about trying to reach that, if so?
I love reaching the casual fan. I was at a business conference in Santa Barbara, and I was just having fun. And I don't know if everyone knows, I was just paraphrasing Tommy Boy. He says he makes car parts for the working man in America because that's what he is and that's what he cares about. Well, I'm a sicko wrestling fan, but I care about the casual wrestling fans. I care about anybody who watches wrestling. I myself got into watching wrestling through as a little kid, through watching people doing entertainment shows. A lot of you have probably heard this before, but I'm guessing there's at least 5 or 6 people in here who've never heard this before. I grew up watching wrestling. What got me into it was I was a huge fan of G.I. Joe, and Sergeant Slaughter was the live action host of G.I. Joe. He would do the wraparounds, and he was a voice actor doing the animated character. I thought that was really cool and interesting. Then I found out he was a wrestler. I'd never actually seen wrestling. I just watched G.I. Joe Monday through Friday after school, 5 days a week or in the summer. And then, and he's a big part of the G.I. Joe movie too, you know, and Nemesis Enforcer and Falcon, Don Johnson. And then I watched the A-Team. Hulk Hogan was on the A-Team. Somehow on the A-Team, we're supposed to believe in the mid-'80s that Hulk Hogan and Mr. T were in Vietnam together. Talk about suspending disbelief, but they were old buddies from Nam. And, but you know, I love G.I. Joe. I love the AT. So here I go. And I started watching, and then quickly I got into other wrestlers. And then not long after that, I also started watching wrestling on TBS with WCW. I started reading wrestling magazines every time I went in the supermarket. I got completely addicted to it. And it really started through G.I. Joe and the A-Team. And then within months, I was obsessed with wrestling, but that's what brought me into the bubble. And I hope whether it's I don't know the exact number, but I do believe there are going to be some kids and some young people and just some fans of all ages and backgrounds that probably had not watched a lot of wrestling that really like Big Boom AJ and Big Justice and the Rizzler, which is really cool because it's a family that is about just positivity. Like, you know, if anybody has anything negative to say about those guys, maybe they just have a negative outlook on a lot of things in life, because when you actually talk to those guys and actually if you give them a chance, they're nothing but good, positive energy. And I really mean what I say, that it is a blessing to work with a father and son that have that kind of relationship, and they get to spend that kind of time together and to see what a mentorship it is and what a great job he's doing raising Justice. And I'd never met the Rizzler before today, but he's a really nice kid. He's fantastic. I love that family, and working with them. It's been excellent. And it really helps. AJ's a wrestler. Whether he's been out of it for 20 years or not, it's different than bringing somebody, you know, that's on the cast of a Broadway musical, or somebody that's even playing sports, you know, a player from basketball or baseball, bringing an athlete in. It's different. He's a wrestler. And he brought that wrestling mindset to social media. What's amazing to me is they built all this since this January and this following. At first, I really, even though I've done a few TikToks, but I don't spend all day on it. And I'm not the expert by any means, but I could see this was working. I had friends that have never reached out to me about wrestling, people that I went to school with, like that I've known since I was like 13, 14 years old, that I could never get them to watch wrestling. They would be the guys in the corner when the rest of us were watching the wrestling when I was a kid, and I was able to be the virus spreading fan that I've always really been. And I could spread it to, there were some people you could never reach. And what's amazing to me is some of those people have been texting me this week. And it's like, I've never gotten you to watch AEW in 5 years. And you're so excited about the Rizzler ringing the bell. That is amazing. And so I do think it has captured some people, and I think it's great. And there's absolutely only positive things to say about that family and what they bring to us. I'm really grateful they came into our lives. And I think it's really cool that they've had so much success, and I'm grateful they brought it here and hopefully introduce some new fans to AEW. And good luck covering the New York Knicks this year, John.
Hey, Tony, Matthew Wilson from 3NT Wrestling. How you doing? Thank you for
Very
taking
well.
my question.
Thank you.
I have a question about your AEW World Champion, Jon Moxley, actually. Recently in the New York Post, Jon Moxley was quoted talking about how tough it may be for newer talent to climb the ladder to success, and that in his new version of AEW, he wants to grab them by the shoulder and walk them to where they need to be. Now, storyline aside, as your AEW champion, how great does it feel to have an AEW champion who cares so much about the future of AEW and wants to walk them to success?
It's the greatest thing in the world. I'm very fortunate to, first of all, work in AEW, and I'm very fortunate to work in a company where we have the 4-time world champion, and it's the 4th time with Jon Moxley as the champion. All 4 times it has made the company better. And even though Bryan Danielson is probably my best friend in the entire world, the fact is I've worked with Jon Moxley a long time too. And even though I don't agree necessarily with what happened to Bryan Danielson, I miss him every day. I miss working with him every day. Jon Moxley is so great for this business, and we need Jon Moxley, and I have to accept what happened. I also have to say that all 4 times Jon's been the champion, it has been straight up. He's been nothing but positive for the business of the company. And then backstage, you're absolutely right about what you said. And then you look at the effects and you see what's happening. Private Party, Jon beat the hell out of those guys, and they've always had it in them. But after they got roughed up, after they got beat up by John, Claudio, Pac, and the Death Riders, I really think that we saw the best version of Private Party we've ever seen. The most confident, selfish. They've been through hell, and they stepped up and they went through the fire. And I do think Jon Moxley had a lot to do with that, and that's a good example of it. And I think it's only the beginning. But I do think all 4 times Jon Moxley's been the world champion of AEW, very great things happen, and he's quite possibly the most important figure in the history of the company. Thank you.
Tony, Liam, Crowley with Screen Rant, excuse me.
Screen Rant.
Screen Rant, yes, sir. New company. Anyways, I want to check in on the status of 2 wrestlers who are active now, but active in different companies, it seems like, while still being AEW talent. Ricky Starks recently got a match announced for GCW, and Kenny Omega is going to wrestle at Wrestle Dynasty against Gabe Kidd. Both of those guys, huge, crucial parts to AEW over the past 5 years. I'm just curious when we're going to see both of them back in an AEW ring specifically.
Well, I think you got to keep an eye on in the future, not to give away things, but very excited about having our stars participate in other promotions. And you mentioned Wrestle Dynasty. I think we see Kenny Omega will be competing for Wrestle Dynasty is actually a collaboration. It's New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it's working with ROH, Stardom, and AEW. And that's going to be a great show. We're very excited about that. We have a lot of really cool things coming in January. Kenny Omega and Ricky Starks both been great champions here in AEW. Kenny Omega from day one. We're just talking about Jon Moxley, the important figures, the great world champions in AEW. We wouldn't be here without Kenny Omega. And, that's definitely something to keep an eye on for the future when some more of these great stars will be back in AEW. Now, if you were in the arena right now and if we were the fans, you'd be getting a "This is Screen Rant" chant. This is Screen Rant.
Looking ahead to 2025 and with the scheduling of certain buildings, it looks like you took a more unique approach in scheduling buildings in 2025 for TV tapings. What's the strategy behind
it?
It
Makes total sense to me. One of the buildings we're going to run, Josh, and it's good to see you, Josh, is Cedar Park, Austin, Texas. That building is perfect. Every show we've ever done there, I have loved. It was the second building we ran after we went back on the road post-pandemic. And I've always loved that building. And I want to find that's a great market around Austin, Texas. And I'm thinking, let's go into the best markets and find buildings like that where it's going to be packed and red hot and we get that kind of energy. So we're going to great towns, running great buildings. And that's the energy I want at all the shows. And so Cedar Park specifically, I wanted to go back to Austin, Texas, and I wanted to get that kind of energy at all the shows. And I think it'll be really exciting. There's going to be some really cool things coming up. I've never been to Hammerstein Ballroom in my entire life, and I cannot wait for that. And then after that, we're going to start the simulcast era. If you didn't see the ads tonight, it's going to be the mother of all simulcasts on January 1st. And it's going to be really cool. We're going to make history in pro wrestling in Asheville. Fight for the Fallen. We're going to do it for a great cause, and we'll be the first wrestling show ever to simulcast streaming and cable, TBS and Max, and excited to make history in some great venues. Thanks for asking, Josh.
How's it going? John Kiernan from the Ropes and Riffs podcast. It's been something unique that you guys did by using the November Rain music and creating music video to hype up Full Gear. What was the impact of using November Rain in the promo package, and can we expect more of that with licensed music like that?
Well, we've used a lot of licensed music here historically, and I think that this was a great example. That song has been used in the past to promote events. This was the first time anybody actually properly compensated Guns N' Roses, and it's the only time that the video will survive on a streaming service because we'll use the song in perpetuity, and it'll always be part of the TV and the Full Gear, and it'll always be part of the library in perpetuity. So that's pretty cool. It was a great video, I thought, and then we were able to use it again. And I can tell you now, we're going to use it again this week because we're still in the month of November. We're going to look back at Full Gear, and we're going to look into the Continental Classic this week as we approach the Continental Classic. Tomorrow night, we'll look at a selection special. We'll start announcing participants for the Continental Classic. It's Selection Sunday. And I'm very excited about using November Rain again. I think that it was impactful, and I think there were great results. I think a lot of things came together, whether it's the great stars, the great champions, having that cultural moment, getting Big Boom AJ and the Rizzler and Big Justice out, and really going out and having AJ and Big Justice out hitting the pavement hard. I think that really helped us a lot. And I do think the November Rain was a big part of it. Today was a huge success. We had over 10,000 people here. We really a great night for AEW. And I think everybody as a team came together. And I do think the November Rain was a great aspect. And also it was an experiment for me as a ratings move for the last 9 minutes of a Collision to be a music video. It's a big risk. It did really well. Looking at the minute-by-minute ratings, I was really happy. I mean, the quarter hour on the aggregate, you guys have all probably seen the quarter hour, and I'm looking at the minute-by-minute ratings, and it did really well. So I was like breathing a sigh of relief that the 9-minute video performed so well, and I think it was a great thing because it showcased a lot of the great stories in AEW. You know, Paul Walter Hauser had been filming a movie, and he watched the video, and he said, like, you know, I'd been filming this movie and I was on set and I didn't get to see every episode, and it's tied together everything for me so perfectly for him to come back in tonight as a commentator and get a Golden Globe Award winner and Emmy Award winner to do the commentary on your show with Renee and RJ. It was pretty cool. And so many people reached out to me about that music video. I think it did a lot of great things to us, and tonight was a big success for a lot of reasons that came together as a team. And we're very grateful to Guns N' Roses.
Hey, Tony, Eric at the Adventures in Collecting podcast. So you mentioned, wanting to reach those casual fans and, your kind of tie-ins to wrestling, through G.I. Joe. And, as we've been talking about a lot tonight, action figures as a way to kind of, get kids, get a younger audience, reach that kind of casual fan.
Yep.
You guys have flourished with Jazzwares, over the years. The figures that they're putting out are great. The play sets. One thing we haven't seen is some of the iconic vehicles that have been featured on TV. So whether it's the golf cart, whether it's Sue's van, or in the lead up tonight, the scapegoat bus. So what are your thoughts on maybe getting some larger set pieces and vehicles made?
It's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I hadn't thought about it, but I think you have a great point. There's been some great vehicles and some great vehicular moments in AEW. So it's something to keep an eye on. It's a great point. And when you get experts in collectibles and toys in here, you get great ideas. So you guys have had some great thoughts on that tonight, and that's a good point. Thank you.
Hey, Tony. Your energy is so positive and inspiring, and it clearly resonates throughout the entire company. So in an industry where people in a high position of authority or power often do unsavory things, how do you manage such a high level of success and communicating with so many people while maintaining a sense of integrity and not losing your soul?
I really love the work, and I'm a people person, and I am also very analytical. I really love to go through data, but I also love to work with people, and I think it's served me well. I think it's served me well starting in an executive role pretty young, and I've been able to keep my enthusiasm now. And for a 42-year-old executive, I have a lot of experience and have been a sporting director in English football for 9 years, and have been worked almost 9 years now, in my 9th season, and have been very blessed to do this for 5 years and loved every minute of it. And I just great. And when you work in a sport that's 52 weeks a year, I'm really fortunate. I haven't had a week off since Christmas 2019. Haven't had a week off in 5 years, and I'm very blessed because I think it helps keep the energy up. I don't want to get off the treadmill. I absolutely love it because it's so fun, because you get to come, and I really enjoy the people I work with. There are absolutely challenging moments. There are challenging experiences, but I love it. It's wrestling, and we're all very fortunate to be here. And I try to maintain that mindset and be very grateful. Tonight's one of those nights where it's like there's over 10,000 people. They're going crazy. You have all these great moments, and there's so many great things happening in the company. And when you do it 52 weeks a year with no break, it's really, really special when you hit these high points, because you grind for weeks to reach a moment like this, the pay-per-view. And there's been so many great moments that we talked about, the video package for 9 minutes of November Rain, to see all these great things that built to tonight, and then have tonight be such a great success. That's what makes it so great. And then I get to go home for Thanksgiving and do it on Wednesday night in Chicago. So thank you very much for asking.
We'll do 2 more questions for Tony.
Hey, Tony, any update on Adam Copeland on his injury?
It's a great question. Adam Copeland, we've been missing him very, very much. He was doing so great this year for us as the TNT champion. We really missed the Rated R superstar very much. And I can't wait to hopefully at some point in the near future get him back. It was really a devastating thing, and we're very blessed to have such a great roster in AEW because everybody really stepped up. And when you lose somebody so valuable to the team like Adam Copeland, it's always going to hurt. And as soon as we could get him back, it's going to make a huge positive difference to have Adam Copeland back on this team. Thank you for asking. We really missed the Radar superstar, and that was one of those really hard things that happened at the MGM Grand at Double or Nothing when we lost Adam from the roster temporarily, and whenever he gets back, we're going to be so excited. Thank you for asking. I got maybe two more because I have my friend here.
Hello, DJ D. Preezy from Russell Bars. Is there anything from the 80s era that you would like to bring back? Like, let's say the ice cream or like something like classic like that.
Something from the 80s? Yeah, there's music. I mean, I like music. There's music. I have an idea. I have an idea for next year. I don't want to say what it is. You'd never, it's like so, you know, it's so random, but I think it would work really, really, really well. I have an idea. In fact, like if we do it in 2025 and you ask me about this, bringing back something from the 80s, and I say it's pretty out there, like you'll all know what I'm talking about when it happens. So, but it's just music. Sure. I mean, to me, that's even, that's even the 90s too, right? But yeah, I mean, wrestling ice cream bars, that's great. There's all kinds of cross-promotional opportunities. Certainly, I've had a lot of great questions about toys. Anything we can do like that, would be great. And some throwback stuff like that. I mean, I was a big tape trader, so I always loved Outrunners vignettes because that's what I grew up on, tapes like that and vignettes like that. But I have some ideas for something we could bring back from the 80s, actually, to start 2025. So let's see if it works out, but I'm positive about it. Thank you for asking.
Question here.
Thank you, Tony. Justin D'Orazio with Sports Radio 94 WIP in Philadelphia. AEW this year has had the tall task of retiring two legends of pro wrestling, of course, Sting and Bryan Danielson, who ended his full-time career. What has AEW learned from the enormous appreciation from Revolution and positive feedback to Sting's retirement and a little bit of pushback to the violent nature that Bryan Danielson was retired with?
Well, I think they're very different moments. Both of them got this incredible high point, and two of the greatest nights of my entire life happened this year. I think AEW, what a year we're having on pay-per-view, first of all. Like, home run after home run on pay-per-view. And when you look at the shows on the aggregate, first of all, I think wrestling is about the major nights, major moments like this, big TV shows, and particularly these big pay-per-view shows. And what a year we're having on pay-per-view. I mean, look back to Revolution. It's one of the greatest nights in the history of the company. We've had so many great shows since. And to me, I think I've had some great moments in football and in the Premier League, working in English football, some of the greatest nights and moments of my life. And in wrestling, I do think, and in just my whole life, probably two greatest nights easily could be Sting's retirement in Greensboro, being there and all those great moments paying off, and 3 years of Sting in AEW culminating back where it started and going back to Greensboro, setting every business record ever in Greensboro that night and having Sting do it with Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat by his side. It was really cool. It was really cool for all of them, and it was the best. It was the best. And then probably the highlight of it all to me personally, professionally, I mean, the night, the wrestling and all was a highlight. But for me, a personal highlight would be when Sting put his hand on my shoulder and what he said to me right before he went out to the ring, which I will always remember and appreciate. And then another highlight for me, Bryan Danielson at Wembley Stadium. He wasn't able to be with us the year before. And for him to have that moment with his family, and for Bryan to tell me that was his best moment in wrestling, all the wrestling Bryan's done, and to have Bree and Birdie and Buddy and Bryan's whole family, that was amazing. And those are probably my two best moments in the business. And then sitting here with Bryan and Birdie, next to me in the scrum at Wembley Stadium, that was like as good as it gets. Now, the way Bryan's full-time wrestling career ended, it was very different than Sting's, but there's a lot of differences. Sting is never going to come back and wrestle. I never said Bryan's never going to come back and wrestle. The full-time career is over, but I'm hopeful that someday, somehow, some way, Bryan will come back here. He's with us in spirit, and I hope it's not over. And with Sting, it is over, but it ended on the highest note possible. Bryan hit the highest note possible, and then it all got snatched away from us so quickly. So quickly. It was what we'd always wanted to see. It was what I at least always wanted to see, was for Bryan to have that moment. I always wanted that for him. And there's no way, especially because, he wasn't with us last year. This was the biggest moment AEW could put in front of Bryan Danielson. He seized it. He had this incredible main event with Swerve. He had this incredible moment with his family. He seized it. And then, yes, it all got taken away from us. It all got snatched out from underneath us. But I hope someday that he'll be back and have another moment somehow, some way. And as for Sting, yeah, it was a beautiful night in the sun. And I think it was one of the real highlights for the company in a year where I honestly believe this has been the greatest year the company's ever had on pay-per-view. You could easily say, you could take 4 or 5 shows that we've done this year and hold them all up against our very, very best. And those 2 nights in particular, Sting at Revolution, Bryan Danielson at All In, those are 2 of the great nights. And then so many great moments here tonight. I think it was a great full gear. But I'm glad you asked about both of them. You know, I think the world of both those men, about Sting and Bryan. It's been such a huge year for AEW. We've got one more major pay-per-view event left. We've got AEW World's End coming up December 28th in Orlando, Florida. And between now and then, we'll have the Continental Classic. And World's End, it's an appropriate name this year because it will be the end of it'll be the beginning of a new era. It'll be the end of the era of Dynamite only being a cable show. It will still be a cable show, but it will be a cable show and a streaming show. It'll be the first ever simulcast, and we'll carry that over to Collision. And that first week in January is going to be really, really big for us. I'm really, really grateful to everybody here. I hope some of you will be able to make it to World's End and be a part of that scrum. I'm really, 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 I say it on the media calls for anybody who didn't get to answer a question, but I really appreciate all of you coming here. And I think that when we started this whole thing, in fact, before Jon Moxley and even Kenny had arrived in the company for the very first show, before we had ever done our first show, so many of you covered AEW when we were just a bunch of guys in a parking lot. And look how far we've come. And it's all due to the fans and you giving us a chance, covering this like it was going to be a big entity and believing in what it could be and what it is now. This has been our most important year in the business, and we're on the verge of the most important things we'll do as a company for AEW. I really appreciate you all coming here to the pay-per-view and covering this, and I hope you all get home safe. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.